Welcome back. So we're back at the 4Root Farm campus today, continuing what we started last week, which is working on our market garden. Oh, sorry, let me take that back. Our actual agroforestry tree lines, still tilling and getting the ground prep for our tree planting. We have 3 more tree rows to prepare. I got my boy Pablo working the tiller right now, breaking ground, getting it ready so we can dump a bunch of compost and then top it off with some wood chips. And yeah, that's what the plan is. After we're done marking these trees, or sorry, working these tree lines, then we're gonna go ahead and start stringing them and really form out these beds. Right now there's a tremendous amount of wood chips on them. They need to be shaped and moved, and we need to create that nice nest and planting for our tree species, for all of our seed bombs, our banana corms, our canna lily, rhyme zones, and all of our eucalyptus transplant. Yeah, and then after that too, we'll also start tilling the edges of the beds to really loosen up that soil so we can go ahead and plant a grass species like Mubasa or Napier. I'm still trying to see and decide what I want to do. A lot of it that's determining what plant species to do is what propagation materials I have available. But anyways, it's a beautiful day. We actually got our first frost at the farm this morning. I'm looking forward to going back and kind of seeing and assessing the frost damage to see what got hit and what didn't, and if our systems are actually doing what they're supposed to do. But anyways, yeah, let's jump right into it. So I just kind of want to show real quick our bed preparation and how we go about doing this. So I originally got Pablo here to till the ground. After he tilled out that tree line, I went ahead and added 8 scoops of compost to the line that was tilled, and then we worked that in. So let me give you a demo here. Next step now, we're gonna go ahead and add 16 scoops of wood chips. All right. So that's a quick visual of how we go about and start this. I will say this, that I haven't mentioned yet. So the benefit of, like in our context, we have an abundance of compost available and wood chips. And we're jump starting these tree lines with utilizing those composts. If you go ahead and add compost, you're accelerating the whole entire succession process like 5 years. So you dumping a tremendous amount of compost into your tree lines is actually accelerating that natural succession that's in Syntropic agroforestry. So everything's context driven. Not everyone has the abundance or access to the abundance of compost and wood chips. Luckily, we're in a place that we're able to do that. If not, your processes are going to be different. But for this context, this is our process. Tilling, throwing a bunch of compost. After working the compost into the soil, chopping it or dropping a bunch of wood chips. After dropping the wood chips, then we go ahead and start planting our tree lines. Anyways, let's keep on moving forward and start composting the next tree line. So what we're doing now is stringing down the center where our tree's going and all of our support species, and yeah, just raking back that mulch and forming that bed. So we want a nice mound, like create that nice little berm, create that nice little nest to house our plants, our trees, and our support species. So this is the process. So here's the outside of the tree beds here. And then dead center, we're making room to go ahead and plant our support species and our actual target species as well. Meanwhile, I still have Andrew working and tilling on the outside of the bed so we can plant our grasses. And then my next step will be is running the measuring tape down the center and flagging each tree species, or where I want each planting to go. So I have different types of color flags. Each flag, I'll create a chart, will represent a certain tree or a certain plant species or a seed bomb, and make it easier so when we do installs. So yeah, so now that'll be the next step. I'm gonna go ahead and start running that measuring tape down the center tree line and flagging everything. Continuing where we left off last week, I came back later in the week, started planting, and today we're continuing planting. I got my boy Andrew back here helping me out. And yeah, let me talk about real quick what we're going to be planting here. Let me turn the camera. All right. So we got our canna lily rhyme zone. We have all of our banana corms that we're going to be planting. These are dwarf ononokos. These are just standard canna lilies. Then we also just got done transplanting. Andrew just finished all the beds and putting our eucalyptus plugs into the ground. This is all lemon eucalyptus that we started at seed from the farm. We have everything flagged through. What we do first here, just a little recap of what we did. So after we tilled up our tree line, dropped compost, incorporated the compost into the native soil, then we dropped a ton of mulch on the outside, created our little nest and our little berm to nurse our tree and support species within the center line. And then we came through and flagged everything. It just makes it simple. So all these flags have a meaning. So since I'm working with other people, and so I just go through and measured and mark out everything. All the red or orange flags here are eucalyptus. Blue is banana corm. Green is canna lily rhyme zone, and also mulberry cuttings. I already started plugging in a bunch of mulberry cuttings in different lines. I did run out, so I'll have to come back later in the week and with more propagation material. And yeah, so essentially we decided to plug in eucalyptus in first. After eucalyptus plugged in, we're doing canna lily. So I already went through down there. We started augering holes for the canna lily rhyme zones and started plugging whatever mulberry cuttings we have, put them in the ground. And then the next thing will be banana corms. In between all of these, then we're gonna go ahead and drop a cocktail of seeds in between every flag or every place where we just planted our species. So yeah, that's the plan for today. That's what we're getting into, and yeah, let's do it. One more thing too that I forgot to mention, since we're in the cooler season and I am planting a lot of warm season, warm loving crops, and just to kind of jumpstart and get some early cool season placenta species to kind of nurse some of these warm loving crops in case if we keep getting a frost between now until February. Our last frost is typically the beginning of February. We are going to drop this whole cocktail of seeds. So we'll be sprinkling this on top since most of them are finer seeds, but this is a mix of rye, oats, peas, vetch, turnips, tillage daikons, mustards, and some kales in here. So after we get everything planted and we get all of our main target species put in and all the other seed bombs of the support species, we're going to bomb it more with more seeds. And these are more cool season crops that's going to help nurture and protect our heat sensitive crops, or sorry, our frost sensitive crops to the temperature. Another thing I wanted to talk about too, that I forgot to mention, that we're planting is our seed balm mix as well. So I mentioned we're transplanting lemon eucalyptus, planting dwarf ononocals banana corn, and we're planting canna lily rhyme zones, cuttings of ever-bearing dwarf mulberries, but then we're also planting a cocktail of seeds. And this is the cocktail of seeds that we're planting. So I already went through and pre-portioned our seed bombs. There's about 20 of these cocktails going into each tree line. And then some of them are alternating, but for the most part, we have pigeon pea, jack bean, lucana, candlestick cassia, and Movuno cowpeas. And another thing I'm adding to the mix, the property here has a tremendous amount of castors growing around, and castor is an amazing early emergent type species, and it also helps break decompaction. So we're going to go ahead, or I went ahead and collected a bunch of seeds in and around the property where we're growing at, and we'll be incorporating castor seeds. So this is the castor seeds, some of the castor seeds I already started collecting that we're going to go ahead and also throw into our seed mix here. All right, y'all, we're just finishing up the last planting here. I got Andrew broadcasting our little cool season crop cocktail that we got there. And y'all, that's essentially it. That's everything planted. That's our whole process of planting these tree lines. The only thing that we are missing in this system is our biomass species, like our grass or tithonia. I am gonna plant grass on the outside. I was originally gonna do Mavasa, but I'm gonna do Napier, and I'm gonna wait till we actually get the market garden established and get irrigation in here. And then I'll go ahead and plant our Napier cuttings. I'm also waiting for more propagation material to harvest from the farm. But that would be the last thing that we would want to plant on the outside of these tree lines. And then, yeah, the next step is forming our market garden beds. And that will be for another video. So then, y'all, take it easy.